Welcome to another episode of It's Debatable NBA Edition. I'm your host, Justin Jones, here with co-host Seb. We are speaking the NBA playoffs. We are gearing up for the each respective Eastern Conference Finals, Western Conference Finals. We're still awaiting the winner of the Spurs and the Timberwolves and the Pistons and the Cavaliers. But what we are going to start is with the game that happened last night. Game everybody wants to talk about, the Los Angeles Lakers and the Oklahoma City Thunder. So we seen the Lakers and the Thunder have a close game last night. Really came down to the last minute of the game. You know, LeBron drives on the right hand side, man. Looks like, he has a chance to take a 1 point lead, drives past Alex Caruso, misses the shot. After that, Oklahoma City just knocks down their free throws and they win the game. um Go ahead, Seb. You can go first. Now that this series is over, what's your takeaway from both respective teams?
This was actually for Philly though, so I'm gonna put this down in respect on how the Lakers played last night. Because the way the Lakers played last night is how they should have played in all four quarters, or all the fourth quarters of this playoff series. With respectfully, me thinking that they could have won one because the way they played last night on hitting on all four cylinders, Rui Hachimura had it going, Austin Reeves had it going. Welcome to the party, Jackson Hayes. I don't know what the fuck got into him in that third quarter though, but he turned up like 10 times a notch, man. That should have been your starting center instead of DeAndre Ayton, who's unplayable. But for the most part, though, my takeaway from the series was that the Lakers just didn't have enough. And you go into this offseason now, you try to build around these players again. I think that, you've seen flashes of we can compete, but we just don't have the depth that OKC had. Because really looking at it, OKC, whether it was Shea getting going in that game, you still had AJ Mitchell putting up crazy numbers this series. AJ Mitchell, this was his breakout series, having numerous 20-point games, a bunch of dimes too, taking over the offense when Shea Gilgeous on the bench. He got it going. And you had a guy like Jared McCain, who Philly traded for a piece of an apple and a pair of socks. He showed out in a game to where, he played his role. He was knocking down timely 3-point shots. He was cutting to the basket. It was just a lot to keep him going. So the fact that the Lakers was able to be in this game too says a lot about them and the heart that they played with. Even though it was a 3-0 lead, the crowd was still rocking though. You felt the playoff atmosphere in that arena. Marcus Smart was doing this thing, giving them a late lead before Chet Holmgren had the dunk at the other end. It was an amazing game, never so the less though. I really enjoyed watching the game. At a point in time in the fourth quarter, there was just trading baskets. It was just like it was a plethora of baskets on both sides of the floor, and it really goes to show that if a Luka Doncic was in this game four situation, the Lakers might have pulled it out though, because you needed a timely basket and somebody that could get you that time basket. And who else to do so than a Luka Doncic though? So they definitely did miss Luka this series, more so this game in particular, to where you feel as if a Luka Doncic, you get the game close in the fourth quarter, and then you just let Luka Magic work. That would have been a bright spot for them, and they could have won this game though. But for the most part, though, that last play I didn't like, drew by JJ Redick. You put in a guy like Maxi Kleber in that late game situation when Rui Hachimura had it going the whole fucking night. I just didn't like that. But for the most part, though, my respect to the Lakers, though, is not how you wanted to end the season. But shit, man, where you could have folded and gave up in the first round, you did your best you could. You just ran into a team that has a plethora of players that's ready to get going at any given time. I couldn't name you one player that didn't really show up for that whole series, whether it was Chet, Casey Wallace last game, Isaiah Joe last game, Jerry McCain this game, AJ Mitchell for the whole part. Like it's a deep roster, and you got to really be able to play guys and get valuable minutes out of guys in order to beat this team. And they just didn't have it. And then my last takeaway from this, DeAndre should not get another contract from nobody else, bro. That nigga should be out the league. What he did in game 3 and game 4 is just goddamn awful, man. And I seen the frustration on JJ Redick's face, man, to where he's just like, yo, I can't play him. You're 7 foot, can't grab an offensive rebounds. You're in Compton on your days off. You just bought a chain when you're getting swept. Like this nigga's mind is on everything else but basketball, man. And I'm here to say this, yo. There's a bunch of players I'd rather have than DeAndre Ayton as my starting center, man. Jackson Hayes, rightfully so, should have been a starting center for this whole fucking series, man. Because this guy gave you absolutely nothing. The nigga can't catch, man. The nigga is worse than Kwame Brown. DeAndre Ayton is worse than Kwame Brown. Yes, I said it. Kwame Brown would have gave way more production in this NBA than DeAndre Ayton did in this series. Angel Reese might be better than fucking DeAndre Ayton. Yeah, I said it. Yeah, I said it. DeAndre Ayton is so damn bad, bro. Oh my God, man. He stuck up the whole joint, man. What I look like having a big man that cannot catch a lob. He can't catch a lob. He can't finish at the basket. He wants to take mid ranges like he's a fucking like it's 2002. The nigga's horrible, man. Justo, on behalf of you and all your Lakers peers, I'm sorry that you had to witness that garbage performance that he put in Game 3 and Game 4. The man is absolutely horrible, man. I'm sorry you had to watch that
It was my go.
type shit.
Okay, so a couple of takeaways from just this series. First, gotta give credit to where it's due. The Oklahoma City Thunder were the better team, period. Right? Just I want to say in the entire NBA, but just speaking of this series, oh, sorry. The Oklahoma City Thunder are just the better team. I don't really want to give the excuse that Luca didn't play, even though that is the Lakers' best player, right? I just want to say, like, call everything just being a spade, right? Luca did not play, but how much of a difference that would have made in the series, I'm not 100% sure because it's easy to say we didn't have him, so we lost. But if you look at how the offenses ran, it's different with Luca on the floor and off the floor. So I'm not really sure what would have happened. I think it would have helped scoring, but would that have changed anything defensively? I don't know. Would that have changed the turnover? I don't know. Um, it was just we were just outmatched, right? So I want to give all the credit to the Oklahoma City Thunder. I said this before on this platform. They've been the closest thing we've seen from that dominant Golden State team, right? When it had Kevin Durant, Stephen Curry, Klay Thompson, Draymond Green, and just all those other counterparts. And I mean it in the respect of even if Shea right isn't on the floor, they get contributions from everyone else, and the offense doesn't really look too different whether he's on the floor or not. Right? You brought up two people who had big games throughout this whole series, right? The Jared McCains of the world, who is a hidden gem. Now, what he does on TikTok and all that is a story for another day. But him being over there in Philadelphia is one of the reasons why Daryl Morey will be fired once this season is over because I can't even remember, and I wanted you to search this up. What was he traded for?
I'm gonna tell you right now.
Cause I be thinking about it, and I just never look it up myself. But I knew we was gonna do this show today, and I want you to pull that up because I just need to know what was he traded for. I can't remember. I feel like maybe a pick was involved or something like that. I just, for the life of me, I just can't remember. But as Seb looks that up,
OKC receives Jared McCain. Philly receives 2026 first round pick, 2027 second round pick. So basically, draft picks.
all right, so once again, that will be one of the many reasons why Daryl Morey will be fired, right, from being the president of basketball operations for Philadelphia. But we'll continue to speak about Philly another day. And AJ Mitchell, man, definitely has showed up. I don't want even just want to say throughout this playoff series, he was great last playoffs series, even though he didn't probably get as much minutes. But even throughout the regular season, he has been great when he was healthy. So he's definitely on the right trajectory. I don't know if it will be the same thing. I know I've seen a lot of comparisons. People saying what happened with Isaiah Thomas when he was, you know, just buried on the bench before, ended up getting his own team and taking off. Same thing with the James Harden. I don't know if the same thing will happen for him because as great as he was this series, I don't know how much of the Lakers' bad defense, right, played into that, right? Austin Reeves not a great defender, so AJ Mitchell was just cooking, right? But the Thunder team, man, it's crazy because you can be up by 5 and then 2 minutes later you're down by 10, and it's like, how did that happen? It's the same thing just with that old Golden State team, the turnovers, right? That was something I spoke about at the beginning of this series. I said you're gonna have to slow the game down. You're not gonna be able to turn over the ball. And Roy Hachimura, Luke Kennard, and Austin Reeves are all going to have at least three threes per game each. And you see when Rui was hitting and Austin was hitting and Luke Kennard was hitting, we was in the game. But then what happens? You start turning over the ball. Now, Marcus Smart, you had a great season with LA, but there was too many times in the playoffs you was looking like a rookie out there. There's too many times in crucial moments when we're up 3 points, up 5 points, and you need to build a lead to try to give yourself some type of a comfort zone, and you're turning over the ball, bonehead turnovers, boneheaded, Shaq the full type turnovers. I seen one, and it's like you try to do a behind the back pass to DeAndre Ayton, and it just hit the rim. It's like, what are you doing? I'm seeing Gilbert Arenas saying and jokingly that, just due to your ties with the Boston Celtics, you were sent here as an informant to try to make sure the Lakers don't get another title. And with some of those plays I was seeing, and I gotta call you up because you are a vet. You are one of the um very playoff tenured people on this roster. And we trusted you, especially with a no Austin Reeves earlier on in our playoff run, and a Luka Doncic that handle a lot of those ball um the point guard responsibilities, and there was just too many costly turnovers. Your 3 point shot was not there. You just, as you continue to want to play in the NBA, to stay in the NBA, you're gonna have to work on that. um DeAndre Ayton, I don't like to do the clickbait, and just because everyone's saying about DeAndre Ayton and they want to show now when he airballed the layup. He bought jewelry, even though he bought that jewelry weeks before. But you're posting it now. I get it; it's the fun thing to do. Has he earned a lengthy contract? No. So I definitely agree with you on that point. He's still good enough to be in the NBA, yeah. Because I've seen worse. Kwame Brown was worse than DeAndre, and we can try to erase history, but we've seen. I remember watching people like Anthony Bennett, who was the first overall pick and didn't score his first basket until what, like the second, third month of the season. So we've seen a lot of buzz. Hey, the people like Ben Simmons who are now fishing. Shout
I'd
out to
rather
our
have
man.
Ben Simmons than
Shout
DeAndre
out,
Ayton.
yeah. I know you're saying that now because the fun things. I get it, Seb. I really do. But shout out to our friend Jonathan when it comes to the fishing. But he's his problem is he doesn't play with enough heart. I was speaking to someone about this series, and I said it's crazy because Chet Holmgren weighs less than I do, and he just always looked more dominant than a DeAndre Ayton, and it's confusing to me. I don't understand why, but we're in the era to where with a lot of these young NBA players, where you play matters. Just the system, what's around you. Look at someone like John Morant, right? We're hearing some media say he soon be out the league, and it's not based off talent. It's like you're not getting better, and we just keep hearing your names and more jokes and scandals than doing great things on the court. And DeAndre Ayton is falling into that because what we can't do is say now in the Houston series he didn't have great games. We can't do that. So if we're gonna pick and choose when to bash on DeAndre and cool, but I remember those games in the Houston series when he was damn near having almost 20 rebound games and helping us win some of those. I can't erase that now because he played bad against OKC when a lot of the stuff. If you look at this, Luka Doncic, right, averaged 33 on the season. Do you know when he put up his worst numbers?
Luca, no, because I know he's going to be
Against
consistent.
OKC. That's when he put up his worst numbers. Their defense is that good. You're not gonna see a lot of bigs have the most success against Chet Holmgren and Isaiah Hartenstein. I mean, unless you're Victor Wembanyama 7'6" and a demigod, but a lot of people are going to struggle against the Oklahoma City Thunder. So
I'm not
was
giving that
this
excuse.
was this DeAndre Ayton's best series? Hell no. Has he earned any type of money in my estimation? No, the most I will give him is a minimum deal. And that's on any roster. Like I'll give you the minimum, like 1 year, 5 mil. But I don't know about it, I can't say
I
anything more
can't
than that.
trust
But
him.
out the league, I can't say that no.
I can't trust him,
But
bro. I can't. I can't,
I
bro. This
no no
is. I
no
know it's
no
one thing
one
to get
no
dominated
no
by a competition, but
no
it's
one's
another thing not
asking
to
you to
box out.
trust him. It's not. I get that, and I already agreed with you. He does things on the court where it's no heart and no passion. I went to the park the other day, and play with more passion than that, right? I
And that
I
shit's for free. You're
I
not getting
dove
paid
on
millions.
I dove on more loose balls than DeAndre Ayton did the whole damn playoff run.
Bro,
Like, but
Isaiah
but but
Hartenstein had his way on the defensive
but,
rebound.
but
DeAndre
Isaiah
Ayton,
but
guess how much?
Isaiah Hardenstein plays with more heart. Like that's just as simple as that. He just does.
So why does this
But
fucking
there's a
team get
lot of centers
excited?
playing like that. Jalen Duren just had 2 rebounds.
Jalen Durden has time.
Evan Mobley before that had a game with 1 rebound.
They have time. They're younger.
All
They
right,
have
so
time.
so what we're not gonna do. No, but once again, it's funny to do, and I get it. Like they just got swept.
I'm not
You
being
get it?
funny. The nigga
No,
sucks.
but
I'm not
no,
being.
but it's the fun to. You get what I'm trying to say. When the media creates a narrative, everyone comes out with the jokes, and I'm not saying you're particularly doing that, but I'm saying that's just what's gonna happen right now. But let's keep the same energy because the last series he played well. He had a bad series against the best defensive team in the league. What everyone does. But I get both sides. But I can say out the league. And hold on. Before we even continue, all jokes aside, rest in peace to Brandon Clark.
Word.
I just seen that and I'm like, what? I was just very confused. 29 years old, so young in life. That was just tough to see. Nothing's been released on what exactly happened. And that's not even important. I'm just prayers to the Clark family and yeah, rest in peace. But yeah, so at the end of the day, because we can talk about this series forever, the Oklahoma City Thunder were the best team, period. Just no ifs, ands, or buts about it. They know when to take their timeouts, right? They know when to make the proper substitutions. They all play as one unit, and they have been the best team in the Western Conference the whole playoffs. So the whole season. So shout out to OKC. Can't say nothing bad about them. The Lakers. You go into the off season, figure out what you want to do in terms of Reeves' contract, LeBron's contract, all that good shit. We will cover that when the time comes. But shout out to Oklahoma City.
It's a Boston fan that said this.
Knicks versus OKC will be an interesting series. We'll talk about the Knicks and OKC when we get there. But let's just finish out in the Western Conference. You have a game. That game 5 is tonight.
Yeah.
Game 5 tonight. Minnesota, San Antonio Spurs. It's been a great series thus far. I had the Spurs in 6, so I am expecting. No, I had Timberwolves. I had the
Timberwolves.
Timberwolves in 6, so I am expecting Minnesota to win these next 2 games. I feel like they had a must-win their last game after Victor Wembanyama was ejected after that nasty elbow. Um, Victor, I don't know. All right, stop, Victor. Don't act all confused though. Talking about, I see you on the bench talking about well, what happens after a flagrant two. You nigga, you don't know. Nigga, you're about to be ejected. Like so, like, don't act like you don't know the game now. But I remember watching that game on Mother's Day. Shout out to all the moms out there. Victor gets ejected, and I said to myself, "Well, the Minnesota has to win this game now. This is not a must win. They do not have their best player. They ended up doing that great game from Anthony Edwards. Sev, just break down who who needs to win this game 5 more. Just who is it more important to?
The game 5 is more important to the Minnesota Timberwolves. Just the fact that you need this game because last game the fact that when we got ejected brought a little life into you, got a little momentum. Face started a little Anthony Edwards. He's going in that paint relentlessly right now. I watched him go for like 3 straight possessions to where he's attacking Luke Kennard and finishing strong in that lane too. I watched a couple possessions too. Even a guy like Randall or Gobert, they start feeling themselves even a little bit more. So I think the momentum that you carry from that game 4, you got to bring that same energy even more into that game 5. Anthony Edwards is going to have to be even more special. Somebody along that supporting cast is going to have a big game, whether it's Randall, whether it's Jaden McDaniels, who's been having subpar games thus far in this series, or even an Io DeSumo. I think somebody along that cast is going to have to be special in order for in order for the Minnesota Timberwolves to win this game 5. Because what I've seen from the San Antonio Spurs, it's not going to take long for them to adjust with or without a Wemby. I seen Stephon Castle have a stellar game. I see who else I'm looking at? Devin Vassell. Like, their options, they have a lot of options on who they could go to, and they're accustomed to playing with or without Wemby too. So that really wasn't bothering them, and that's why it was still a close game in that game 4. But for game 5, though, I'm expecting the Minnesota Timberwolves to come out scorching hot. I think that you need somebody along the lines of who I just said, either Io, either Jaden McDaniels or Julius Randle, to really take over some of the scoring duties from Anthony Edwards. Anthony Edwards is going to show up. He's a superstar. Never forget that. But at the same time, is somebody's going to have to be that anchor to help. And if I had to be a better man, Julius Randle, we gonna need you, man. You're the second best player on this team. You're the veteran that we're leaning upon. We gonna need Randall to be something special. And I'm not talking about just a 15-point game, 17-point. We need 25 and up. We need Julius Randle to be aggressive on attacking the basket, getting to the line, and cause some havoc. We need him to do some draw to and kick, and I think that would be the recipe for this game if the Minnesota Timberwolves want to win. Because all eyes are going to be on Anthony Edwards. It don't matter who's in front of him. All eyes are going to be on him. But who's going to step up and help though? And it has to be Julius Randle, man. That's the second best player on the team. This is a team that's been to 2 Western Conference Finals and trying to make it their third. So this game 5 is imperative to them to set the tone in this series.
Yeah, game 5 very pivotal for both teams. Spurs should be favored. Them just being going to be at home for this particular matchup. Victor Wembanyama, probably is going to be playing with a chip on his shoulder. The type of competitor that he is. Him being removed from last game, he probably feels like if he never got ejected, they probably won that game and are up 3-1. So, I definitely agree with you with the Julius Randle. He's definitely going to have to step up. I seen him say before game 4, he is just one of the leaders on this team to where, the team feeds off his physicality. So he's gonna have to practice what he preaches. He's gonna have to have a big game. I don't want him to fall in love with 3-point shot or anything like that, but to keep putting pressure on that defense, keep making Victor Wembanyama have to work on that defensive end. I think that's going to be very important. Also, Jaden McDaniels, right? We seen him last series have a 30-point performance, right? We seen the type of edge that he was playing with. He's also going to have to step up. I seen some people trying to make comparisons to a Scottie Pittman, right? If you're gonna make those type of comps, then he's going to continue to have to produce. Scottie Pittman wasn't really taking days off, right? Having 5-point games. He was doing it on both ends. So I expect a big night out of Jaden McDaniels, but the person steering this ship is Anthony Edwards. He's going to have to be amazing, right? Because if they were to lose this series, the fingers are going to be pointed at Anthony Edwards. He's the best player on the team. That's just how this works. He's going to have, I believe, last game he had about 36. I need 40, right? I need 45. I need 50. Right? If you're one of those dudes and he's capable of doing that, you need to keep rising to the occasion, right? Because if you advance past this series, you got Oklahoma City waiting for you, right? So Anthony Edwards is at the point right now to where I feel third anything under 30 ain't good enough. So him having a 25-point performance is fool's gold. That's not gonna mean anything to anybody, especially not to me. I need 30 and up moving forward from Anthony Edwards. Also understand he's not 100%. That's no excuse. You're just gonna have to get all those shots in your knees that you have to take, whatever you gotta take. Hit up Paul George and ask him for his hookup. But you're going to have to step up and really be the man. So all eyes for me is on Anthony Edwards. The Spurs. It's gonna be a tough game, and I think that could come down to the wire because that home cooking is definitely going to be in effect. We all know role players play better at home, so the Spurs are going to be on one. Victor, I expect Victor Wembanyama to set the tone, and if his 3 point shot is falling, I think it's going to be a long night for the Timberwolves. But I'm going to stick with my predictions, and once again, I had the T-Wolves in 6, so I do expect them to win tonight. But it's going to be tough. Let's move to the Eastern Conference. Why am I forgetting another series? Okay. Let's just go with the Knicks and Philadelphia. We seen the New York Knicks, right? Sweep the Philadelphia 76ers, handling their business game 4 just from the start of the game. Just they put belt to ass. I just want to say before Seb goes, I got to give respect where respect is due. The New York Knicks is a team to where there was a lot of hype surrounding them. And I don't fall into the hype until you win at the highest level. I can't just say because you have success in the first round, second round, even Eastern Conference. I need to see a team win a championship and these players step up in the biggest moments. So I got to give, once again, credit to where it's due. I love what I've been seeing from Carl Anthony Towns, not falling in love with that 3 point shot, taking advantage of his matchups, right? Joel Embiid is a great player, and it's sad, just with his body, he's never going to be 100%. So sometimes it's tough to watch to see how limited he is. Can't really move side to side. But Cat, there's not you don't gotta feel sorry for nothing. You take advantage of that matchup. I love what I seen him just trying to make Embiid have to move side to side. Seeing that he can't, I'm just gonna drive by him, right? I'm gonna make the game as tough as possible. These other dudes that definitely are on my level, the Bonas and the Barlow kid, and these people aren't on my level. If they are on me, they're gonna be in foul trouble. I'm the ultimate mismatch. I love what I've seen from Carl Anthony Towns. Jalen Brunson playing very, very well. I've loved what I've seen, just knocking down his 3 point shots, getting to the free throw line, making his teammates better. I love what I've seen from him. Shout out Deuce McBride, right? Came out the gates in that game 4 and just couldn't miss from three, right? I love what I've seen there. Josh Hart, not what he does on the defensive end, knocking down threes. Shout out to Mike Brown. Received a lot of criticism, right, when they was down 2-1 to the Atlanta Hawks, and some of it was warranted because he's saying things like he wasn't sure if they was gonna come back and win the season, a whole bunch of shit. But what he's done with this Knicks team offensively, right, has been nothing short of amazing. And we have to remember he's capable of doing that because before he was let go by the Sacramento Kings, what he did with that offense, right, making them one of the more prolific offensive we, that we seen that season. He's capable of doing the things that he's doing with the Knicks now. So the Knicks look like the best team in the Eastern Conference. Um, who they get next round is going to tell a lot. Um, yeah, but besides Oklahoma City, the Knicks have been the best team in the playoffs. It seems like after Atlanta gave them a scare, they've just put their foot on the pedal. Um, so shout out to New York. Things look great right now. They're playing winning basketball, and I gotta give them my respect. So shout out to the Knicks.
See this right here? We use this to sweep bum ass niggas that don't stand a chance against us. And what we did on Mother's Day, by the way, happy Mother's Day once again to all the fans out there and their moms. You know, hopefully y'all did something nice for y'all mothers. Hopefully y'all didn't bring them to, if you're a 76ers fan, you didn't bring your mother to that massacre that just happened where we blew the 76ers out by 40 fucking points. Oh man, this series did not go how I expected it to go. Actually, it did because I did have the Knicks winning. But in a matter of games and the way that we won, I was not expecting that. I've seen this offense turn it up times 10. I've seen Karl Anthony Towns piggyback off what he's learned in the Atlanta series on just being a passer. Somebody that, and this, Karl Anthony Towns in his postseason career only averaged 1.6 assists a game. Let alone with this next season under Mike Brown's offense, he's averaging 6.6 assists a game. So his expansion of his offensive plethora on just being able to get people and others involved and him being at the top of the key and be able to read the defense has expanded this Knicks offense in ways that I couldn't even see coming to this year. I couldn't see. I thought the most we was going to get was a simple pick and roll between Brunson and Cat that we all been waiting to see though. But now we have Karl Anthony Towns on top of the key, really working the offense, really getting others involved. I like what he do with that little fake dribble handoff to Jalen Brunson, and then Jalen Brunson cut to the basket. That's getting a lot of looks. I love what I've seen from guys like Deuce McBride, Landry Shaman, who had a special game too. That game 4 as well. Every time I look up, it's somebody else different for the New York Knicks. And that's really has been the key. I know we like to give Cat the praise. I know we give Jalen Brunson, OG Anunoby, and the stellar work he's done. But I really feel like it's just been everybody's been involved. And when I say everybody, I mean, even if you come in the game, you might get a little something from Jose Alvarado. You might get a little something from Landry Shaman. You might get a little something from, I'm saying, even Mitchell Robinson. And God damn, you see the body he called an Embiid, man. That was payback. You thought he forgot. That was payback for injuring him in that last series that y'all played against. And by all means, man, everybody just got it going. I think that's the most important thing. And that's the difference that I spoke about between the tip system and Mike Brown system as far. Everybody's getting a chance to shine. It's not just the Jalen Brunson and Karl Anthony Towns and everybody fit in. Every time I look up, somebody else is getting involved. And this is why we coming off these hot starts. This is why I feel like the New York Knicks, they're usually up by a large amount. And in the closeout games thus far, they punched the fucking Hawks by like 40. They punched them 76 by 40. It's not because it's just Jalen Brunson. It's not because of Karl Anthony Towns. It's everybody that's involved, man. This is a team effort. And I like what Mike Brown has been doing. And I love the defensive tenacity that everybody's playing with, getting out in transition, hitting timely threes, getting just what the defense is giving us. You see confidence in this building. And, the story's still not done. You know what I'm saying? We still got ways to go. There's still 8 more games that you want to do if you want to hold the NBA Larry O'Brien trophy. So it's a long way to go. And you know what I'm saying? There's still things we could get better at. We're still waiting to see what OG Anunoby looks like for us. And we're waiting to see who we're going to see in the Cleveland and Detroit series. But by all means, man, this is just something special to see. You get back to the conference finals. You know the job is not done. You handle Philly in 4 games. You get to sweep them. And now you get time to rest guys like OG Anunoby. And you just waited to see who you have next. But it's not a time to slack off. This is not a time to, get caught in the moment. We still got to be locked in. The job is far from finished for New York fans. I know it's a good thing that we rally, that we like to jump around, but we're far from done, man. We still got the conference finals. We got to avenge what we did last year, even in that game 1 against Indiana, where realistically we should have won that game, but we shot ourselves in the fucking foot. So there's a long way to go, man. I like the energy that we're coming with. I like the energy that the city's bringing, though. But remember, we got to stay locked in. And I think that's what guys like Jalen Brunson and Josh Hart is telling people that's telling the organization, that's telling the players right now, we got to stay locked in, man. We're far from done. It's cool that we got back to the conference finals, back-to-back conference finals, but it's another thing for us to get over the hump and get back to the finals since like 1999. So New York fans, we feeling good right now. Trust me, feeling good right now. You know what I'm saying? We got our head high. We just belt to ass Philadelphia. Them boys stood no chance. Or stay locked in, man. We got to stay locked in, man. We got 8 more games, man, until you hold the Larry O'Brien. So every game matters, man. One game at a time, man. And right now, we are looking to see who we play in that conference finals, man. But boy, does it feel good to sweep them fuck niggas out of here, man. And you had them niggas in 7. We ain't gonna skip past that. You had them niggas in 7. Tyrese Maxey, no show. Paul George, 15 points in the first half. No, in the first quarter. 0 for 9 for the rest of the game. Somebody got to see what happened with Paul George, man. I don't know, man. I don't know what has happened to Paul George, man, but it's not him. VJ Edcombe, I give him a little slack because he's a rookie. Joel Embiid, what do you do with Joel Embiid? I want to ask you that question real quick. What do you do with Joel Embiid now? Are you going to keep, like, because it's so hard to see what do you do with a player like that, because on one side, he's still an MVP player, and on the other side, it's just like you said, he's getting older. You don't get healthier as you get older, as Charles Barkley would say. So you're in a dilemma now to where it's just like, how do we build our future? So I just want to ask you that real quick.
If I was running Philadelphia, I would look to trade Joel Embiid. But I'm not sure what his value is. I don't know if other teams want Joel Embiid. Like, it's a very interesting case. We haven't really seen it too much. Like, I just don't know. Do I think he is going to be traded? No. So what I would do if I'm Joel Embiid, you just lost, and um you're done with basketball right now. Joel Embiid should not pick up a basketball again until training camp. The only thing Joel Embiid has to do is rest, get in shape, change your diet. Period. There's no basketball activities, not getting shots, no getting runs, no playing in the fucking Philippines and all this weird shit. No, just absolutely nothing. Once again, the three things: it's rest, getting in shape, meaning you gotta lose some weight, and changing your diet. If you do those three things, then once training camp comes around, then you start getting into the motion, so that for game one you're able to play, and you're not gonna play all 82. But what you're gonna do is take a page out of the Kawhi Leonard book and see what he just did this season, to where we haven't forgotten Kawhi Leonard's injury past, but he's given us a season to where we can give him some grace. He's going to be an all NBA player, right? Should have made the playoffs, but ended up falling into the play-in based off how the team started the season. So if I'm Joel Embiid, I'm on the phone with Kawhi Leonard. Just what did you do, like, to try to keep your body up, and just move like that? He made the wrong decision last season, playing, during the summer, and doing all that, and then came and then ended up getting hurt and not being available for his team to start the season. But yeah, Joel Embiid once again, rest, dieting, losing some weight, and that's just it.
That's it. Oh man. Yeah, but in all seriousness, no. Joel Embiid, hopefully you could bounce back, man. Hopefully you use this as motivation. For my thing, and just to end off, I just finished speaking about the Knicks, man. The story's still being written. But after this, let me just get my side on the Sixers real quick. Um, a lot of things I take away from. I think the Sixers need to really invest into depth. They struggled a lot with the bench unit. This post series, switching from guys like Barlow to Bonia to Drummond. You didn't really have a definitive big. When I looked at the offense on the bench, Quentin Grimes stunk up the joint. I can't even remember the last time I see Quentin Grimes play good. The only positive person I think, in my opinion, that was actually solid for the 76ers was Kelly Oubre. Every time I looked at it, he was just the most engaged in the game. I think you need to add some more wings onto the 76ers team. Maybe a backup point guard too for a guy like Tyrese Maxey. It's just The Sixers, one thing I gotta say is I commend it for coming back 3-1 against Boston. That wasn't an easy thing to do though. But the deeper you get into the playoffs, the more I feel like your weaknesses are exposed and how can you cover them up. I think more so just adding depth. I think they could have played a Kyle Lowry, in my opinion. Well, why the fuck not? You got Quentin Grimes out there that's just jacking up shots. Why the fuck not? I didn't see enough from the Sixers sides that gave me the idea that Kyle Lowry couldn't play. I think it would have been at least somewhat of a benefit for this team rather than a negative. You was already in a direction to where you're down 2-0, even down 3-0. Kyle Lowry should have got some burn. So for the Sixers, I guess it's just revamping the front office, firing Daryl Morey, figuring out what Joel Embiid's future is, and how do we build around Maxi Edgecombe? Because I don't think Paul George is going to be there any much longer, though. We just paid that man like 4 years of 150. And for the production that we getting for that contract, that's not good enough. I'm gonna keep it a buck. That's not good enough. And I know we want to say, oh, injuries with Paul George or the 25-game suspension, no, but we paid you that money to give us prime PG, not even prime PG, at least 20 points per game to 22 points per game PG to be special. I can't have my third best player having 15 in the first quarter and then going away shooting 0 for 9. I can't. I can't. So it's a lot for the 76ers, though. But mad respects to them, though, for at least overcoming and coming from a 3-1 lead in the first round, though. But just as far as Embiid goes, once again, another year missing out on the conference finals. This is going to be what, seventh year, eighth year missing out on the conference finals. So the 76ers have work they have to be done. It's not going to be easy. A lot of tough conversations is going to have to be had behind that closed doors. What's the future hold for Embiid and what's the future hold for Paul George? But we only can wait and see in the offseason.
Yeah. Once again, so shout out to the Knicks for advancing to the Eastern Conference Finals, and they are going to be waiting to see if they face the Pistons or the Cavaliers, which is the last topic we're going to address. The Cleveland Cavaliers, after being down 0-2, went back to the crib and tied up this series at 2 apiece. Um, I always feel like I gotta give the credit where it's due. Um, the Cavs handled their business at home, and whether it was James Harden in game 3, right down the stretch, making plays and making big shots, or in a game 4, to where you see Donovan Mitchell go off, I believe, for 35 points and really put the team on his back in that second half. They handle business and they won 2 games at home. But even with those 2 games, I do not think they're better than Detroit. And I still do not believe they're going to win this series. I brought this up a little bit earlier. I'm not sure if it was game 1 or game 2, but Evan Mobley had 1 rebound.
I
I,
think it
I
was
don't.
game two. I think it was game
I'm
two in
not right. So I don't know how that's possible.
Detroit.
And I just don't get it. Like you don't play all 48 minutes, but I, I don't see how. Because it's not like you're just standing at the 3-point line, so that's just completely points to effort. Evan Mobley to me is a bust, and what I mean by that is not that he should be out the league, or he's on an Anthony Bennett right type level. And I'm gonna keep bringing up Anthony Bennett because first overall pick who did absolutely nothing. But what was projected out of Evan Mobley, remember a lottery pick, top 4 pick in the draft, was for him to be right, maybe some type of a version of a Chris Bosh, or right, I even heard some comparisons of a Tim Duncan, right, coming into the league, and it's really been nothing close, right? He got that Defensive Player of the Year, kudos. He's not gonna win another one with Victor Wembanyama just in the league now. Um, he hasn't really become a better 3-point shooter. He just doesn't really have a mid range game. You're gonna have games to where he has 1 rebound, as we just seen in the NBA playoff. He just lacks the heart to me. Just doesn't. give me that type of drive, right? Imagine if Evan Mobley had Isaiah Stewart's type effort. Then you're talking about a dude that, right, can be a better version of like a Rasheed Wallace, right? It's just something on that level, right? A Kevin Garnett type. If he had those type of, if he had that type of moxie to him, I feel Cleveland would be in a better space, because yes, we're gonna get on James Harden. I'm gonna get on James Harden because he does all this to himself and he tries to chase all this money. And if you're gonna do that, then you need to be addressed. And James Harden, even though has played decently over these last two games, just has not been a great playoff performer. Evan Mobley is one of those young dudes on this team that they have faith in. That front office. That's why they drafted him. I believe he was the third overall pick, and have continued to invest in him. And you haven't got your money back on that investment thus far. Jarrett Allen, I don't see a difference between Jarrett Allen and DeAndre Ayton. I
What?
don't. I
What?
don't, because they don't really
No,
do, they don't really do that much difference. Like,
no, 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 no.
and
Stop while you ahead right there.
I can have my opinion. I
No,
don't
no,
say
no,
nothing
no,
about
no,
your
no, no.
opinion.
Stop, bro.
Go
Come
ahead,
on,
sir.
stop, bro. No, 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 no. I had to cut you off right there. You was doing good. Well, you was doing good. But we can't go there. We can't go there. Jared Allen's the person that can actually catch a ball, that can actually put up 22 and 15, that can actually pick and roll, that can actually block a shot, grab a rebound. Nah. You bugged out right there, man. I'm not even a Jared Allen fan, though, but I'll stop you in your corner. I'll stop you in your bricks right there. Slow your roll, buddy. Slow your roll. Because there will be a huge difference if Jared Allen was in that purple and gold. I'll tell you that. Isaiah Hartenstein and Chet Holmgren would not be getting those rebounds like that if Jared Allen was there. I'll tell you that. You pump your bricks, buddy. Yeah, me fucked up.
So there's not a difference to me between
There is
Jarrett
a
Allen
difference.
and DeAndre Ayton, and I mean that because both of them have all the potential in the world, 7 footers, and shout out to Jarrett Allen for, I guess if people want to bring up the month he had when James Harden was traded there and he put up these big numbers, that means absolutely nothing to me. That's towards the end of the regular season when you're on that honeymoon phase, when James Harden comes to a new team and makes a big look better than what he is. Jared Allen is a okay big. I just don't see a big difference. They both lack heart, both lack effort. I both seen them punked by people who are not as good as them but play with better heart. Right? I'd rather have an Isaiah Stewart on my team than a Jared Allen. And I shouldn't be saying things like that because Jared Allen has more talent, but he doesn't always show it. He Sometimes he just falls into the midst of the game, right? And what Seb is gonna do, and I can't stop him. He's just, I love having him on the show, but Seb's a prisoner of the moment. So once something happens the night before, he forgets everything that's happened in history, and it's gonna go off yesterday. Can't stop him. But we've seen Jared Allen have bad games. We've seen DeAndre Ayton have bad games. But once again, I've seen DeAndre Allen. I said DeAndre Allen. DeAndre Ayton have 15 plus rebound games in the last series against Shangoon, who was All Star. And people say that Ayton outplayed him.
I've watched
Is it?
Jared Allen drop 22 and
Hold
15.
on, hold on, hold on, hold on. Is what I just said not a fact?
Yeah, but I've seen Jared Allen do
So
the
now
same thing.
hold on. See, yo, Sam just supposed to move on so fast. So that what I just said is a fact. But then you now said he should be out the league. So you're basically gonna erase last series, and it doesn't matter to you because what happened this series, correct?
Yeah, one good game. One game
That's
doesn't
see,
count.
that's also not true. There was multiple games where he was averaging a double double.
No, he
Like
wasn't.
said, we're gonna talk facts. Let's talk
DeAndre
facts.
Ayton did not
Not
average a
your
double
opinion.
double.
I said games to where he averaged a double double.
I gotta search it up. This is cap. This is cap. That bum ass nigga cannot log in a double double. I gotta search this up, man. Give me a break, man. DeAndre ain't double double.
But once again, I know everyone have y'all fun. Everyone wants to now make fun of DeAndre Ayton. I get it.
Okay, so the bitch ass nigga had a good game. He had 7 points and 16 rebounds. That's the that's the best he could do. That's it.
So
You're
what
down
game? Hold on, because now he brought up one. What game did you just bring up? You just said a stat. What game was that?
This was against the Rockets.
What game?
I think this is game 6.
So what about the other ones? You just
I'm
gave
trying
us
to
one.
scroll, bro. Niggas don't show too much of it. Hold on, let me look on ESPN.
Don't do
ESPN.
that. Like, yo, hold on. Let's not.
Hold on, hold on,
Try
hold
to
on, hold
hate
on,
on
hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on, hold
Just
on.
give us everything. Don't
Nah, hold
like.
on, hold on, hold on.
Don't do that.
Let's see. In game, what's it? 1, 2, 3. Okay, so game 1 he had 19 and 11. Okay. Game 2 he had 6 and 5. Game 3 he had 2 and 6. Game 4, no, was it game 4? Yeah, game 4 he had 19 and 10, 18 and 17, 7 and 16. Okay. Okay.
yo, yo,
Okay. No, no,
yo,
no.
Seb is
Okay.
the
Okay. Okay.
time out.
I still think he don't
Yo,
deserve to be in the
Seb is
league.
mad funny.
I don't think he. Nigga, Hassan Whiteside could put up them numbers right now. Wait, hell no. Wait, hell no. Hell no. Wait. I can fix this. I can fix this. I can fix this. I
It's
can
not
fix this.
about
I
fixing.
can
Hold
fix
on,
this.
Seb.
Hassan
Wait,
Whiteside
calm
right now is better
down.
than DeAndre Ayton.
Seb,
I'd rather have
Seb,
Hassan
Seb.
Whiteside
Okay,
play
that's
for
fair.
Puerto Rico. I'd rather have JaVale
Seb,
McGee.
Seb. That's fine if you feel like that. No one said you can't feel like that. You act like someone got a gun to your head.
They
Calm
do.
down.
They do. Look, I'm telling
All
you.
I'm
I'm
saying is
pushing.
that
Adam Silver got people
listen,
right now in my house telling me you're pushing narrative. DeAndre Ayton should be out the league.
oh, that's cool. Like that's what I'm saying. Is that's the cool thing to do right now. I get it. I'm not gonna fault you. If you want have you could do your own show after this. You can make it 6 hours and do a compilation of DeAndre and that's fine. But we also gotta tell the truth, bro. We
I am.
can't just come on here and do clickbait media. Like we can't see Seth, what we can do is come at the media when they do it, but then when you come on here and try to do it, it's okay.
No,
Let's
I
not
just
do
have a
that,
strong
Seth.
opinion about somebody who I watched
That's
throughout
a
the
fact,
season.
and I will never say you can't have a strong opinion. But then let's also state the facts. That last series, he went up against Shengun, who was an All Star,
Who's a bitch?
and
He's a bitch. I'm sorry to call it. He's a bitch, bro. What LeBron say? Yo,
can
oh, what?
okay, once
What?
again, you're
What?
going
No.
off.
What did your
See,
man say about
Seb,
Shingu?
Seb, Seb, you keep moving the goalposts. Just stay in one place. We can make joke have opinion, but we also got to state facts. He went up against Shengun. Well, I didn't vote. I didn't vote Shingun for All Star, but was an All Star. And at worst, you can say they played at the same rate. The worst you can say. But really, he played better than Shingun. But now the next series, going up against the Thunder, he did not play well. Yeah, but once again, we also gotta say almost nobody does. Your numbers are going to go down going up against this Thunder team. Like I brought up Luca, led the league in points. Look at his stats from playing OKC.
Luka ain't no bitch though.
So
I
saying
watched
so
41 years
personal
of
feelings
LeBron James do
about
more
these
effort.
players is
I
cool.
watched
I
Bron show
definitely
more
think
effort
that
in his pinky
I,
than
de- I
DeAndre
de-
Ayton showed in his whole career. 41 years old
why are
Bron.
we comparing LeBron to DeAndre Ayton?
Because look at the age. Look at who has more youth. And but look who's out there
But you
right
can
now
say
crashing on big
LeBron's
houses.
playing better than 75% of the league. Why are you just
Yes.
making it about
But why
DeAndre
is my
Ayton?
But why is my oldest player in the league, 41 years old, LeBron James, out hustling? Why does he have more rebounds? Why is he get down there crashing and you just ball watching? You know why? Because it's hard. And I don't think a
Yes, I
nigga that
said
has
that
more.
already. I say don't play with no heart. I literally
So
said
to me,
that.
if you play with no heart, you're sort of whack to me. I'm sorry. I play the game with passion.
Okay.
I like people getting in there and fighting for the rebounds, bro. You're
Yeah,
damn near
so
as
do
tall as these
I.
niggas.
So do I. But once again, this conversation went left because I brought up comparing Jared Allen to DeAndre Ayton.
The
There's
kid
been
plays with heart, but
there's
sometimes
been
he just
count.
looks.
No, there's
He
times where
looks
he
a little
does.
weird,
There's
bro.
times where
He's a
he does
little
not.
weird. He just looks
I'm
weird
see,
looking
Seb.
sometimes.
I'm not talking about personal things. I'm not talking about he's weird and all that. I'm talking about I've seen games where he does not play like a big. I've seen games like that. I'm not talking about being weird and all that. That's his personal business. Just like I've seen DeAndre Ayton play soft at times. I've seen Jared Allen play soft at times. I've seen Evan Mobley play soft at times. And bringing this back to Cleveland, because like I said, we could talk about DeAndre Ayton all day, but those bigs in Cleveland have to play with a lot more heart if they are going to get out of this series. If they're gonna go up against the Knicks, if they were to be in the finals, whatever cap hold you want to put the Cavs team at, they have to look at something that's not on the court, and it's just within their heart. Like, are they able to really muck up the game? And once again, shout out to Mitchell and Harden for having great games in game 3 and game 4 respectively. But game 5 is going to be very tough for them back in Detroit. I don't think they'll be able to pull it off. But at the end of the day, shout out to Cleveland for tying it up.
All right. I'll take away from this. Cleveland gonna have to do everything right in order to win this series. And when I say everything right, because even though that Donovan Mitchell went berserk in that second half and did his thing, and rightfully so, Detroit Far wasn't in this game, wasn't away from this game too. I know the game sort of got away from them late in certain situations though. But for the most part though, Detroit was hanging in there by a thread. And maybe I think that game changing possession was when Jalen Duren thought that Cade Cunningham was going for a three and missed the ball completely. They was on a run before that though. But for the most part though, I still said I had the Cavs winning this series, even though I was reluctant to stay on that. But I told myself I can't be a coward. I got to switch. But the Cavs do play better at home than they do on the road. But they say the playoffs don't start until one team wins on the road. And the Cavs are going to have the heaviest task of trying to get their first playoff win on the road late in the second round. As crazy as it sounds, they didn't get a road game against the Toronto Raptors. So now they're going to try to have to do it in Detroit. Who's first seed? Who's eventually going to just drop two and wants to avenge that they lost. So it's going to be a tough to ask, though. I think this series might go seven, and just the strength that Detroit's not going to play around at home whatsoever. I know these games have been relatively close, and I know it took a super heroic effort from Donovan Mitchell and James Harden, who I got to say dropped 9 points in that game three to close out and win that game three. It's going to be tough. I think the Cavs are slowly finding their groove too. At points in time, they could look like a lethal offense, and at other times, they just look like they just take a lot of bad shots, whether it's between Harden or it's between Donovan Mitchell. But when the shots are going, ain't much nothing you can say about that. And that's exactly what happened last night. It took Donovan Mitchell's all 39 points in the second quarter and the second half to really get this team ignited and get this team going. And that's what it's going to take. Kate Cunningham didn't have the best game in the world. Jalen Duren has been a real hit or miss. It gets to a point now to where Paul Reed had a way better game. Paul Reed in that third quarter, for what he was able to do for this team and sort of try to bring them back, was better than what I've seen thus far from Jalen Duren in this playoffs. I'm gonna keep it a buck. Jalen Duren hasn't done nothing a while, niggas. He hasn't done nothing to really just set the tone for this team. Isaiah Stewart has been more of an aggressive than Jalen Duren. Jalen Duren was supposed to be looking like Dwight Howard 2.0, and I haven't seen it. So as much as you want to say about just the Evan Mobley's and the Jared Allen, Jalen Duren hasn't been that special either. So what if one of them bigs out of all those three gets going, it turns the whole series around too. So I'm relying on that. For this game five, I do think Detroit wins just the strength of being home. And I'm not trusting the Cavs on the road once again. I think they tie the series back up and send it to seven. when they get back to Cleveland. But for the most part, though, this series is going to 7 in my eyes. I think that just what both teams are able to do at home, that momentum builder is going to help. I'm expecting a better game from Duncan Robinson to stay out of foul trouble. Um, who else am I looking on? Tobias Harris. There's somebody that's been their second best player to me for this playoffs thus far. So he's going to have to be huge for them too as well. Karis LeVert got off to a great start in game 4, I believe. Yeah, but couldn't really piggyback off that in the second half. But everything is going to be relying on Donovan Mitchell. I think Donovan Mitchell is going to have to be the best player in this series in order for them to get over the hump and for him to get a conference finals berth. I think James Harden is going to have to follow up with another stellar performance, maybe a 20-point and 9 assist game. One of the bigs are going to have to come along, whether it's Jared Allen, who just had, I believe, 22 and like 7 and 3 blocks. If he could double down on that performance and give something else like that again, then we should be looking at a Cavs team that could beat Detroit. But once again, this is a Detroit team that just came off a 3-1 deficit and finding ways to win in different ways. But like I said, the only difference between that and this series is the Cavs have offense. And this is why I picked the Cavs in the beginning of the series to win this series because they can kill you with offense. And Detroit at times struggle finding their offense, whether if Cade is not getting going, then I don't know who else you rely on to carry the whole offense. Tobias Harris can do that to some extent. But at the same time, is the Cavs is you still got guys like James Harden, Donovan Mitchell, prolific scorers. Dennis Schroeder off the bench, who can give you a good 12 points. Max Strus, that when he gets going offensively, can torch you with three threes, 4 threes, however much you want to get. Sam Muriel, like the list goes on though. But at times they play with a shell of themselves, and at other times though that offense looks good. So in this playoff series, it really depends on who got the hot hand, and not even a hot hand who just at home. I think this series is going to come down to who at home. I don't think nobody gets a road win unless the game 7. If the Cavs could do something, it would have to be game 7.
Okay. All right. So once again, tune in tonight to Game 5 of the Spurs and the Timberwolves. All right. And when does Cleveland? Does Cleveland Detroit play tomorrow?
Yeah,
Okay, and Cleveland Detroit will be picked up tomorrow. Once again, shout out to OKC for advancing. Shout out to the Knicks for advancing. Lakers and Philly are both on the connecting flight to Cancun right now. Um, yeah, gonna be interesting to see what happens with those two franchises moving forward. Once again, rest in peace to Brandon Clark. Shout out to the WNBA back. Make sure y'all tune into that. Their new season is up and running after coming off intense debates when it came to their new collective bargaining agreement. So just make sure you are tuned into them. You got still on the WWE side, seeing that they are partnered now with all this ESPN. I be seeing them on all these damn ESPN shows now. You got on Saturday night's main event coming up along with Clash in Italy. So be on the lookout for that. I want to thank everybody for watching this episode of It's Debatable NBA Edition. Please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Follow us on all social media platforms at It's Debatable double underscore. Free Geechee Gotti. Free Bill Collector. Welcome home Sue Surf, man.
free
Jersey.
Diddy,
This guy playing.
free R. Kelly, nigga.